Nadine, thank you so much for your time today. I'm so excited that we're doing this. We've been trying to do this for a while, and finally we've made it happen. Nadine and I
I
used to
know.
work together like for a really long time. And Nadine is one of the most high energy, high vibe, very, very active, inspiring women that I know. She leads the Dubai Business Women Council and has been leading it for a while now and has grown it to this amazing organization that supports women in their businesses. So, with that intro, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about yourself.
So first of all, thank you for having me, Abha. Second, I'm very proud of this platform that you've put together. I know because we've worked together for many years how passionate you have been about putting or creating something like this. And I'm extremely happy that you finally managed to launch it and you're doing great. It's an honor to be here with you. So a little bit of background about myself, Nadine Halabi de Francesca. I was born in Dubai, so I'm a child of Dubai, born and raised in Dubai. I have been working at the Dubai Businesswomen Council for almost 14 years now. And since I came on board, I've been managing this amazing platform that stands as an official council that represents the businesswomen community of Dubai. And the activities that we do vary from networking platforms to ongoing workshops, trainings. I'm very big on learning and development. And I feel that it is extremely important for women in business, especially entrepreneurs, to always stay up to date with the latest trends, the latest skills, even be aware of how they can navigate the latest disruptions that are happening around us. So education is a very, very important thing. And I know that when you work, especially if you work and you have a family, you have very little time to invest in your growth and your development. So we try to cater to that in the best way we can. I have two children who are not babies anymore. My eldest is a girl. She is 19 years old and she is in her third year of university in Spain. My youngest is a boy, Karim, and he is 15 years old, going on 25. They're children of the UAE as well. They were born and raised here. And it is very different and somewhat challenging in different ways to raise a boy and a girl. But overall, it's a blessing. And to all the moms listening in, I know how exhausted you all are. I still am exhausted, but it's still a blessing. And I think we should embrace that every single day.
So, tell us, what has been your biggest struggle as a mom and a working professional? Because obviously you've been a mom for many, many years, 19 years now, and it's seen you through your entire career. And now your children are almost adults. So tell us what and I know that every journey, every stage of their life is different, but overall, what's been the biggest struggle for you?
The biggest struggle, which remains a constant, if I may say, if I may use that word, because it doesn't change, it's really trying to find and create the right balance. And I disagree with everybody who says, you have to create the perfect balance. There is no perfect balance. You navigate your balance as you go along. Depending on the age of the children, challenges vary. So when they're babies, you have a different kind of challenge. You're physically tired, you're exhausted, you don't get enough sleep. When they become toddlers, your kind of challenge becomes elevated to a different level. And then when they become teenagers, you have more of a psychological, emotional struggle that you're trying to create balance around. And to be honest with you, Abha, this is my biggest struggle as a mother, as a working mother. My children are now at an age where they need me in different ways. They need me more as a friend. They need me to be there to talk. They need me for advice. They need me for guidance. And of course, for the other things that also remain constants no matter what age they're at. I'm balancing being there for them emotionally as well, especially my daughter who's in a foreign country, who's studying, who's going through her own set of challenges as well. So that trying to find that balance of being present for her emotionally as well, being there for her whenever she needs me, even though I'm so far apart. And even though most of the time, all I want to do is just reach out and give her a hug and just tell her that everything is going to be okay. And parallel to that, I still have a very hectic career that I manage, because my time is not my own. I'm an employee of a semi-government entity, as you know, Abha, and so my time is not really as flexible as I would like it to be. But I keep telling myself, you cannot be everywhere at once, you know. However, making sure I'm present where I'm needed at the time that I'm needed the most is what I'm working on to create my kind of balance.
That's great, because I think when we're trying to juggle so many different things, we're almost not present anywhere. Like, you might be at work, but you're thinking about something else. And you might be with your kids, but you're actually thinking about your work. And that just diminishes wherever we are. That's a really good point you make, that if you at least try to be 100% present, whatever you're doing in that moment, then at least you can give it your all and create some kind of time management of your own. But having said that, so how do you juggle it all? Do you have any time management tips or hacks that you run by? Maybe prioritization? Like, how do you manage it all? You have very limited hours in the day, and you're very, you know, physically, you're probably running all over the place anyway. And also emotionally, work is challenging. Your kids are at a very demanding age emotionally. So how do you manage your time and your own emotions around this chaos?
It's tough to begin with. Okay, first of all, I just want to back up a little bit and just give one piece of advice that was passed on to me by my mother when I first became a mom. She used to tell me, look, you're going to be a working mom, and I hope that you will stay a working mom, because whatever it is that you put your heart into it, it doesn't have to be a full-time job. It could be anything that you do. It's great. It's good for our sanity. It's good for our morale. It's good on every level. She told me the secret recipe is making sure that you really prioritize quality over quantity. And I think this is what really sedated me somehow in my younger years. Like, I would work full time. I don't have time to be around my kids. They're babies. They need me. What kind of mother am I going to be? All these thoughts and this continuous guilt that I was battling with. But then I remembered that, okay, if I'm away 8 or 9 hours a day working, and then I have these 3 hours with my babies at home or my toddlers or what have you, I want to maximize on that time. It's exhausting for me, but at least I was present for 3 hours. I wasn't there all day, but not available, either cooking or on my phone or doing something. The 3 hours, including bath time, bedtime, was prioritized for them. So quality over quantity is definitely something I always pass on to all my friends who are moms or new moms, etc. How I manage my time? Oh my God, it's all about prioritization and structure. I work, I'm a walking calendar. Everything is structured and everything is pre-planned, or else I don't have any sense of order in my life because I do so much. So I'm present for my team at work. That's very demanding. I'm present for the entire network and the platform that I represent. I need to be present for my husband. I need to be present for my son, who happens to be a type 1 diabetic. And that really takes a lot of my energy, because there are many nights that I wake up because of a sensor blowing up and I need to attend to him because he's fast asleep. Many times he gets, sick, and I need to rush to the school and take him to see the doctor or to the clinic or what have you. So there's this constant troubleshooting. But prioritizing my day and creating that kind of structure is what really keeps me on my toes. Because, as I said, everything it's fragmented. So it's not just work and home. It's work, it's home, it's my team, it's the being out at events. It's my mother, who's an elderly woman living on her own, but still working at 73 years old. I'm so proud of that. But still, she's alone. So I need to also make time to cater to that. Everything is like a calendar. It's like clockwork for me. And then don't forget, I also have things that, maintain my sanity. Like, I love to exercise. I'm very big on exercise. And I need to put that into my day, or else I cannot de-stress.
So tell me, all this work you're doing, do you have an ultimate goal as a working mom of where you want to be?
To be very honest with you, from a business perspective, as like a business idea or a business plan, I don't. I still feel like I'm floating around I don't have a USP that I want to materialize into a business, simply because I still love what I do and I still get that kick out of adding value to other people's lives. And as long as the council and myself are contributing to creating that kind of support for the businesswoman community, and as long as I am able to play a role, no matter how small, in really changing the lives of some businesswomen and entrepreneurs to the better, I'm kind of happy where I am. But the goal is definitely, I mean, as Nadine, I definitely see more. I see a lot more for myself, but I really can't pinpoint what it is. It's still very blurry. I just need to go with the flow and somehow create that flexibility for myself, because over the last couple of years, it did really consume a lot of my thought. And I was discussing this with my husband time and time again. But then again, in a place like Dubai, and you know very well, Abha, if you really don't have a clear, unique selling theme or point for your business, you'll be just washed away with everybody else. And you need that if you're going to transition from a full-time job into entrepreneurship or setting up your own thing. But I hope that one day I will transition and I will have my own business, if I may say.
So, since you work with so many other business women at all stages of their business journey, what would your one piece of advice be for a woman who is looking to start something? What would your advice be to other moms who are looking to start their own business or get into the workplace, or maybe they've just had a baby and they're looking to get back into some sort of business? What would one piece of advice be for them?
Okay. For the category of the moms who have had babies and took some time off to take care of their families and they want to jump back in, I would say, because we live at a time where things are super rapid in terms of change. There's a lot going on. And if we compare our lives today to our lives 6 months ago, it's a very big change, right? Especially with you taking the lead on supporting women on AI, which I think is fantastic. That could attest to how crazy things have become. I would say the first advice for this category of moms is please educate yourselves. And it doesn't have to be an expensive program affiliated to an Ivy League university. It could be any course that you could plug into and learn about the latest trends or the latest skills. Because when you're out of the job market for so long, you need to catch up on what you've missed out on. And the best way to do it is either to join a group that hones these skills or freshens them up, or even connect with friends who are still working, just so you can find out from them what's happening in the scene. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Don't wait for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. In my case, it's about the perfect business plan. But if I have the plan, I would not hesitate. My time would be now. There is no perfect time. And if we're always going to find excuses about, I'll just wait until they go to nursery, I'll just wait until they're in high school, then there's always going to be an obstacle, a hurdle, something that's going to delay the plan. Just jump right into it. But at the same time, make sure, parallel to what you're doing, you are feeding on the latest knowledge and you're educating yourself and you're really honing your skills and learning. It's extremely important that we do that, because the first step is to start the momentum and then you build it. But you need to start it. And once you plunge into it, everything kind of like follows through, if I may say. Because at the end of the day, juggling motherhood and entrepreneurship is a very big challenge, extremely big challenge, but it will require so much help along the way. You're going to need a village to support you, but you're also going to need yourself to be educated enough or updated enough to be able to go through that journey and take that step moving forward.
And what are your thoughts about AI and where this all fits in the future of work or future of business for women? I mean, it's a very open question and there's no simple answer, but like just off the top of your head, what's your immediate feeling about it?
I am a very strong advocate about getting to learn and understand AI. I'm not against. And I know that it will transform lives. However, it all depends on how humans use it But that's for another subject for another day. But talking about AI in particular, I'm a very strong supporter of that. I know that to many people, it's still scary simply because there are misconceptions around. One of the misconceptions is AI is not just chat GPT. Okay, AI is another world that has different subcategories. And the first thing we need to do to eliminate that fear of AI is to try to understand it. That's one. Second of all, people need to understand that there are no AI experts as of yet. There are those who are doing the programming, the creation, etc. Yeah, I understand, but you cannot label yourself as an AI expert yet, simply because those who are building it and creating it are still navigating through it. So it needs time. But as humans, we're always afraid of things we don't understand. The best way to go about it is to embrace it, understand it, learn it. And there are so many platforms available online that are free of charge that could really help people try to understand that. I know it's going to make our lives easier. And I know entrepreneurs themselves can benefit so much from AI, because just by using a few tools available, they could lower so much of their overheads. And that's just the beginning of it. So I am a strong supporter of that. I endorse everybody who wants to find out more about it. And I tell everybody not to be afraid of it. But there's also a very important point here is, and that's my personal opinion. When we talk about diversity and inclusion, I feel that AI, if women come on board and start to learn it and study it and use it and be more of a part of it, especially in the programming part of the AI, the software development, the early developments of AI, that could be a step forward towards really trying to create some kind of our balance. Because if we are more represented in that industry, then our percentages of representation would increase and will somehow be a step forward towards kind of like creating a balance between the diversity and inclusion element of men and women in the workplace. But to do so, you need to create awareness, you need to encourage more people, and you need to loop the youth into that, because they are the hope for the future. So it's all these elements. This is basically, in a nutshell, my overview about AI, what I think of it, and what I foresee AI can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a topic that you can talk about for ages. And as you said, there's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong way. There are no experts.
You just got to tamper with it. You got to, and this is basically, we've launched a program for our members that's exclusive and free of charge in collaboration with Oracle. So we have all their experts coming in and sharing whatever knowledge they know on AI in terms of what it can do to really make entrepreneurs' lives better, help them with their work, help them with their productivity. And to be honest, they even tell us, you guys need to tamper with it a little bit, play around with it, see what you can get out of it, and you'll be surprised. Because, and like you said, watching all these experts talk about what their findings are, that's also extremely beneficial.
Everyone learns from everybody, and everybody does it a different way. You can watch 5 presentations on ChatGPT or on Perplexity or any tool, and you will find 5 different ways to do something. And I like to say, you just have to path for it. You have to play around to find out. And, you know, you'll like something from here, you'll like something from there, and you'll make it your own. So where do you get your inspiration, Nadine?
I get my inspiration from a lot of people. First, it's my mother, because she raised me to be a strong, independent, resilient, but also empathetic woman. So she is, I mean, I see her every day, and every day I am in awe and amazement. At 73, she still has a 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. job. She still looks after her health. She's still athletic, etc. And I love that. And I aspire to do that. And when I think back of when she raised us, she did the juggling act so well and so seamlessly that it is my goal to keep doing that. And so I attribute a lot of my inspiration to her. There's a lot of that also from my children. I want to make sure I really aspire them, or I really aspire to raise them to be independent and thoughtful and successful, but also resilient and kind and empathetic. Because I keep telling them, look, with everything that's happening, your empathy is going to at some point become a rare commodity. all right? And especially if machine and machine learning will take over the way we do work, or it will be the future of work. As humans, one thing will always remain at the top of the pyramid of requirements, which is empathy. And it's something that machines will never have. The third source of my inspiration, and I think this person is not only an inspiration to me, but he's also a mentor, and I've learned so much from him. It's my husband. My husband, Brian, has been a big support. And I think that finally I can say that I have found the partner who is a true partner in everything that I do. So there's a lot of, work related things, there's juggling the family element, and there's, the other things that I think we have the right balance in that area. And he also continues to drive me to become more, and he inspires me to do that. And I love it.
And what keeps you motivated and driven?
What keeps me motivated is how I want my legacy to be for my kids. I want them to always remember me as I'm not a superwoman, but I was always a mom.
I think you are a super.
No, I wish. But see, for the longest time, I thought I could be that, but now I've kind of given up on that dream because you can never get all the angles right. And as humans, we're fallible. What I want is I want to create that legacy for them where I will always be remembered as the kind and loving parent, but also the mother who was there for them as much as I could, and the person who did so much in her job to help a lot of people, but at the same time did so much to educate herself on the go. And because I share everything with my kids, if I go to a workshop and I tell them, "Oh my God, guys, you're not going to understand. Today we learned this, and that." And when they were younger, they used to tell me, "Mommy, you're learning, but you're a businesswoman. How come you're learning?" And this is something that I've been feeding in them since they were little babies. And now they see it. So I think all of these variables is what I really want my kids to have and to remember me with.
So apart from having your entire day structured, what is your biggest productivity hack? Or
Yikes.
That's it. But
my biggest productivity hack. So you know how when some people wake up in the morning, they reach out to their phones and they scroll on social media? I reach out to my phone and I refresh my memory with my calendar. My calendar is my best friend. I cannot do anything without my calendar simply because I have a lot going on. So I get up. The first thing that actually gets me to sit up straight is, bless him, my husband bringing the coffee mug right next to me. So that's like my first motivation to actually get up and start the day, have a couple of sips, open the phone, check the calendar, and start planning out the day. Obviously, it's been planned the night before, but then you always need a refresher because there's so much going on.
what calendar do you use? Is it just Google calendars or Microsoft or the phone
No,
calendar?
Microsoft and my Googles are kind of like
Synced.
integrated together because I have my personal calendar. Sometimes Kareem, my son, has checkups with the doctor. Sometimes there's school activities. So then you find all these things plugged into each other, and there's like different colors for different things. But it's just a refresher. I try not to overwhelm myself. Breathing and just going through the emotions of the day before you jump in the shower and get ready. So it's the coffee and the calendar.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's a good enough tip, that's what it is. And it doesn't have to be anything more complicated than that. What is your best parenting hack?
I actually love that question. Communication. And what do I mean by communication? Ever since my children were very, very, very young, I never spoke to them like they were babies. I always tried to reason with them. And of course, it's very difficult. I mean, you cannot reason with a child who's 2 years old, but I never approached, the baby language or the baby psychology. Like if they fell down, you know how some parents go, "That's a bad floor. The floor was so naughty. It hurt you." It's like, "Oh, I know you're hurt. You know what? Try to stand up. Come on, stand up. You can do it. Next time, watch where you're going." I was never, and you know me on a personal level, I don't strike you as somebody who's, baby talk, and
Not at all.
I'm more like, I don't want to say objective, but I am more with mature communication. And it was always with my kids, there was always an explanation to why this was happening. But why, mommy? Okay, I'll tell you why. Let me sit and tell you why. That's one. Two, when they got a little bit older, like 8, 9, 10, I would ask them, so how was your day? Good. Okay. What was the best part of your day? Because with children, you need to drag it out, especially when they're teenagers. When they're younger, they blurt everything out. We did this, Miss did that, da. But when they get to becoming teenagers, you have to pull it out. Okay, so name the highlight of your day. Name the lowest of your day. What are your plans for tomorrow? What are you studying? Oh, really? What is that? Can you tell me about it? I never went through that. So this open communication was it was good because at some point they didn't like it when they were teenagers. It was like, "Oh, just let's get rid of the conversation and go off to do our own thing." But now that they're older, it's created some kind of a ritual at home. At dinner time, we sit, we talk, we catch up, we communicate, and from one topic, it branches out to another one, and the next thing you know, you end up having a discussion. Communication, especially when they were much younger as teenagers, you're going through that shift from being children to puberty. There's a lot of emotional challenges going on. So that's when I would make the extra effort and try to be more talkative, but not annoying.
Yeah, I hear that between the ages of 14 and 17, 18, you kind of lose your children.
You
And
lose them in a different way.
lose them as in khalas, they don't want much to do with you. They want you to stay out of their space, etc. And but I also hear that they come back. You just have to give.
Yes, 100%. And I can testify to that. Like my daughter, when she was going through, 13 up until last year, up until she went to university, up until she turned 18, that was when she wanted nothing to do with me. And I was, the old fashioned. I never had the right hairstyle. I never had the right outfit. I never had the right attitude. If I joke, using their lingo, it should be like, oh my God, what are you saying? So whatever I did was not good enough. But now that she's 19 and I feel like, she's matured, she's been living for a couple of years on her own, she's starting to see the things that I would tell her about happening to her. And so now there's more connection between us. She's simmered down. It's a beautiful relationship that we have, but I also like to give them their space. I never hover, especially with my son. My son at 15, he has a lot of his guy friends come over to the house. I give them their space. Whatever I need to say to him, I say it when nobody's around. It's between me and him. But none of that, oh my darling, come give me. No, no. I know he gets intimidated with that. I know he doesn't like it when somebody walks into the room and says the music's too loud or scolding or so I give them that space, and whatever I need to tell them, I tell them
Later.
separately. I don't embarrass them. But I think giving them space is also very important. However, I'm very strict on the rules of the house and the rules of how I raise my kids and the upbringing. Like a small example, my kids know there are no sleepovers allowed. Never. My kids have never slept outside the house. Your children, your friends want to come and have a sleepover, they're more than welcome. My house, my roof, my rules, no problem. And they kind of like got used to it. So setting your goals, your rules, communicating it with them, giving them their space, but being firm as well. I think that's the balance that's challenging. That's the part that's challenging.
So this is a question I ask myself a lot, and so many other moms ask me it too. Like, and we talk about it, but my kids aren't there yet. But like with that age between 14 and 18, when they want nothing to do with you, what do you do in that age? You just
What do you do with the children?
yeah, like you said, how you said that your daughter didn't want to have anything to do with you because you weren't cool enough and you weren't this enough and you weren't that enough. And you put in more of the effort to try and stay connected. Is that all you can do, I suppose? Just
Yes, and also what I would do from time to time, like if I feel like she's really disconnecting and I need to reel her back in, if I'm driving her somewhere, I tell her, look, can I be honest with you and tell you I'm a little bit upset. Why, Mom? I'm like, I'm upset because I feel that I'm really trying to reach out and spend some time with you. And I understand that you have your friends and your schoolwork and everything, but I miss you. Would
Mm.
you like to go out for lunch? Let's do something, me and you. I'm sure you can find the time. Oh, of course, mom. And then the empathy kicks in, and she's like, I don't want to hurt my mom. You know what I mean?
That's nice. Yeah.
And when I have that moment with her, I try to make it fun. Like, okay, so tell me what's going on. Talk to me. It's not me talking at her. It's more of, I want to listen to what you have to say. But at the end of the day, if there's something that's off, I need to say my piece. But I find a way to reach out to her and let it stick. And the
Mm.
best way to let it stick is without any aggression, without any anger, trying to keep it real, but also trying to keep it straightforward. At the end of the day, if they're going to steer away from what's right, you got to pull them back in. And teenagers these days, it's very challenging because they have all these distractions around them. They have things that lure them away from the straight path. So you got to always make sure that you bring them back in the line. And with my kids, I want to know who their friends are. I've always been like this. I want to meet them. So how about your friends come over and I can make dinner for you guys? Or how about we all go to the movies? Or how about, I always try to find a way to see who their friends are. Not to be a helicopter mother, but just to get the feeling that I'm there
And who
and
are
I
they
know
hanging
what's
out
happening.
with? And who are they spending time with? Because peers are such
Exactly.
an important influence at that age, right? So,
Exactly. Exactly.
no, no,
Exactly.
that's very sound advice. So when are you writing your book, Nadine?
What's that?
You're writing a book about
Only if you help me do it. I need
life
somebody to help me do
experience.
it.
Uh,
Let's get
maybe
let's
that
get
could be,
AI to do it with us.
maybe that, no, absolutely. And you'd be able to do it well and fast. I mean, you should consider it. Maybe that could be a
Thank
new
you.
project for you. And you could combine everything, all your worldly knowledge, your kids, and your life as a businesswoman. So there I have given you a project to work on as your next project.
That's an awesome one. Thank you.
Um, so I know you said in your me time you love going to the gym. What else do you do to kind of fill your cup?
Me and my husband love music.
Mhm.
So if there's any time that I have that's vacant, if I'm not working out at the gym or doing my steam and plunge pool, which by the way, I've been doing it for the last 3 years and it's helped me so much. So this is my first go-to for my me time. If I have time alone, oh my God, I head to the gym. Even if I don't want to work out, I do the trio, the sauna, the stim, and the plunge pool. And I do the repeat for like 3 or 4 times because it helps relaxes me. I sleep better at night when I do it. It's therapeutic. So that's definitely something I do along with the gym. If it happens to be time that I happen to share with my husband, it's finding places where we can go either to a comedy show or listen to a jazz club or even just put on some jazz records at home and just sit and relax. I love the movies. I'm a big movie buff. The classics and the new ones. I love superhero movies, by the way. Also, it's like, oh, and Iron Man is my favorite hero. So yeah, it's a combination of things. Lately, with the audiobooks, it's been fun when the weather is good to go on walks and just put the audiobooks on and just listen to something and walk. And that helps me kind of like stay centered and focused and de-stress as well, because you're doing a little bit of cardio, but you're also, enriching your mind and you're learning something new. So it's a combination of these things.
So what's the best thing you've watched lately or best thing you've listened to lately?
Listened, yes, I can tell you. Lately, I mean, in the last few months, two books. The first was Elon Musk. It's an audiobook that I've listened to that
His
fascinated me.
biography? His biography?
Yes. Yeah, it's by Walter Isaacson. The book, it doesn't just focus on his successes, but it also gives you an idea about his complexities as a person, and he's a very complex person. Lots of challenges along the way, lots of family trauma, he is a very complex man, but he's also a very nice man. So there's like these two different, actually more, two, three, four different personas in Elon Musk. I love that. I like the fact that I actually got to see the genius in him in different perspectives. Very interesting book. The second one I read was Surrounded by Idiots. That's the book by Thomas Erickson. I like it because, and I've read it many years before, and I reread it again. But this time I managed to see it in a different light. Because when you have a job that deals with different people, different personalities, and different situations, it's always a very good refresher. It kind of like aligns you and keeps you back on track. So yeah, those two books I are of the latest.
I think they're timeless books. Both,
Yeah.
especially like Elon Musk is a legend as he is, and very complex, I can imagine. I've read half of the book. I haven't finished it. I found it quite heavy to read. So I've put it on the shelf at the moment, but it's very interesting. And I heard him speak in an interview recently where he said, you know, something about his personality came up, and he's like, I'm putting people on the moon. You can't expect me to be a normal person.
Exactly.
You know, and it's
Exactly.
so true, right? Like everyone criticizes him for so many personality traits of his, but then he's not a normal guy. He's got to have these complexities, which is why he's doing the work he's doing, you know.
Exactly.
And The Surrounded by Idiots is a book that my husband has on his shelf, and he always says, you need to read this book. You need
Excellent. And you know what? If you read it like years apart, you see it from a different perspective because the way you relate to the different personalities becomes different because you will come across a typical red or a typical green or yellow or blue. And you'll start to really, as you're reading it or listening to it, you'll be like, oh my God, that's Nadine. Oh my God, that's mom. You know what I mean? So you get to identify people within your circle, even teens or people you work with, family members as well. So it's a good book.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Nadine. This has been such a nice conversation, and I could talk to you for hours, but thank you for giving me a bite of your life and all your advice, and I'm sure my readers will really appreciate it. So thank you very much for your time. And
Thank you.